Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to today's Pick a Card reading. Today we're looking into how the person on your mind would describe this connection, and we'll be getting tarot, oracle cards, and advice. We have three piles 1, 2, 3, and the giveaway is still going on. You can find all the details about it in the description box below, and if you want to enter, I'll also just say it now. If you want to enter, all you have to do is comment on this video or the video I posted right before this one or any other video I post until the 14th of June, and you have to be a subscriber to the channel. So yes, that's all. And the winner gets a one question pre-recorded personal tarot reading with me. And that's all I have to say, I think. So I will leave you to focus on which deck cost you the most, and I'll see you soon. Hello, my beautiful pile ones, and welcome. Today we're looking into what the person on your mind would say about this connection, how they would describe your connection and or you, whatever comes through. I got one oracle card to represent your energy, how this person kind of would talk about you, and then we'll get some more details with the tarot, and we'll also get advice at the end. So I'm just gonna put this deck away for now, and we're gonna put this here. It's still very much hay fever season, so I have a little bit of a stuffy nose and my voice comes and goes. So we'll see how it all works out in this reading. I hope it'll be fine. But yes, let's get into your energy. We have the Phoenix. This person would describe this connection as a very long-lasting one. Regardless of what may have happened, where you might be at right now with this connection, this is a connection that's had a very significant impact and a big part in their journey. It's possible that you separated and came together a couple of times, or just even like one time of separation and then crossing paths again, and then maybe you separated again. At this point, I'm not getting a very specific scenario on where exactly you might be, whether you might be in contact or not. But it does feel like this has been an intense and maybe a little bit of a consuming connection. And I do feel for most of you that there has been a separation at the very least. To me, it doesn't feel like you just met this person and you're still with them and nothing has gone wrong. It feels like something or certain things have pulled you apart. It feels like there was a lot of healing work that came through this connection for both of you. So it could have been very triggering, and we're looking at what they would say if they were completely honest with people rather than what they are saying right now, because some people are just more private than others. Some people don't like to talk about things like this. So that's not so much our main focus, but it's more so their perception of you and this situation. And I think if they were completely open and honest with someone they were talking to, they would say that this connection has been like no other. Even if you're not together right now, this person has not forgotten you. And I think they recognize that on some level, they never really will. This doesn't mean that your lives won't go on, but I think you've left such a significant impression, such a significant mark on this person's journey, that maybe it's difficult to talk about their own individual path and their own healing without bringing this connection up at some point in some way. This could have been very triggering for both of you, and there seems to be a lot of emotional maturity that you saw in each other, at least that this person saw in you. There is a lot of respect, a lot of admiration, a little bit of a "you're my muse" kind of energy. maybe from this person's side to you, or maybe the other way around, or maybe it's a mutual thing. But it's like you have given each other fuel to keep going, to keep growing, to keep evolving. And it's like you've given each other enough space as well, because the phoenix rises from its ashes. And maybe you've known each other as different versions of yourselves, in the sense that maybe you've seen several different versions of each other over time. It feels like they have witnessed immense growth in you somehow. Or maybe they feel it, maybe they assume because of the way they see you and your energy and what you're capable of, the way they see your potential. I think they would say that they had very deep feelings for you. And I don't think these feelings are gone, but they may just be a little bit more dormant, a little bit more like stored almost, rather than actively being acted upon, because it feels like their main focus is themselves right now. And I would guess that your main focus is likely yourself as well. There could be distance between the two of you, and maybe this was a significant factor in causing some kind of separation here. But regardless of the kind of more shallow 3D physical circumstances, I feel like for most of you there was healing that needed to be done here before this connection could come together fully. And it feels like there was a conscious decision made to separate, maybe by one of you, or maybe you came to a mutual decision to separate. But regardless of where you might be, there is so much energy that still seems to run between the two of you. Maybe it comes and goes, maybe it's stronger sometimes and it's more faint on other days. But I think this person is still, in some way, receptive towards this connection. That doesn't necessarily have to mean that something is happening in this connection, but I don't think a separation or minor arguments or them being triggered by this connection changes the way that they feel about you and the way that they see you. They may really like your hair as well. That's just a side note, because I'm seeing like hair, flowy hair. They see you as so fiery and so strong, but also so soft and so gentle at the same time. And maybe this is something that fascinates them. Maybe they haven't really seen this combination in a lot of people in such a genuine and pure way. I'm hearing they don't have to try. They could tell others that you are who you are, and you don't have to try to be anyone else. And maybe you're not afraid to be vulnerable. Maybe you've inspired this person to be more vulnerable as well. I think this could be someone who has a fear of intimacy on some level, or a fear of commitment, maybe a fear of losing themselves. Maybe this has happened to them in the past. Maybe they've seen this happen to other people in their life. But it does feel like this situation, the intensity of it all, triggered this person. I heard therapist. I tell my therapist about you. So for some of you, maybe this person does therapy and they have discussed this connection in therapy, especially how it may have instigated a lot of growth in them, how it may have taught them a lot. I think there's an energy here of this person a little bit on the down low, hoping that your paths would cross again, but at the same time, It's an energy of, I don't want to get my hopes up and then be disappointed. I think this person is very careful with what they promise and possibly what they may have promised you. I think they try to be as realistic as possible, but there's something just intensely dreamy about this connection itself. I think they see the two of you as being very compatible, having a lot of potential together, but you're also constantly growing and evolving in parallel. Maybe not next to each other right now, and maybe, again, maybe that's why you had to separate, because maybe you would have hurt each other as that versions of yourselves if you were to stay together, if you were to fully pursue a connection, or if you were to keep going, if things kept going. So I'm really drawn to this kind of separated energy here. But then again, these little lines, they cross several times, and that's what's giving me this energy of there being several cycles in this connection. This person is very inspired by you. They think you're beautiful inside and out. I hope you know that. Let's get you some tarot. Does it work if I put this here? Is it still in the frame? Yes. All right. Actually, no, I don't want it there. I changed my mind. Let's just get the tarot. We have the Nine of Pentacles. They value you so much. They really do. No matter what, you always matter to this person. We have the Page of Pentacles. They're very impressed by your skills as well, whatever these particular skills might be. I'm seeing hands, so maybe you do something with your hands, maybe even tarot readings or jewelry, or maybe you make sculptures or art, or maybe you play the piano or some another instrument, cooking, gardening. What else do we do with hands? Everything, really. But I'm seeing hands. We have the Seven of Cups in reverse. There is that energy of wanting to be realistic in a situation that feels so ethereal. I'm hearing, do you think this makes sense? That I feel this way? So maybe this person has talked to a friend, or someone they trust about this for some of you, and maybe they ask others if they've experienced something like this, or if they're just kind of writing this all in their head, or if it's weird or something. We have the Six of Swords. I'm hearing everything made sense for a while. We have the Four of Cups in reverse. They might have a tendency to overthink, and I think they're trying to not overthink about this situation. Maybe for some of you it's been a very long time since you last talked, but if not, I think they're just trying to not be in their head about it, because it feels like maybe they have a tendency to just get in their head and come up with these horrible scenarios of everything that could go wrong, and maybe they live those scenarios in their head, and it must be very draining. But of course, it's understandable to have anxieties and fears and have these come up, especially in very intimate and possibly very triggering situations. But I think they're learning to deal with their intrusive thoughts as well. I heard pile 1 gave me tips. So maybe you have similar experiences with anxious thoughts or self-limiting beliefs, and maybe you've shared your experiences with this person. It feels like they've gotten a lot of wisdom from you. We have the Hermit in reverse. Virgo energy could be significant. There are also a lot of placements on these cards. I'm not going to say every single one of them, but I will just mention the major arcana as they come through. So far, we only have Virgo, and we also have Venus in Virgo. That seemed very significant to me when it first came out. So maybe someone has their Venus in Virgo, but does not have to be the case, of course. We have the Five of Cups. We have something else that flipped. We have the Four of Swords in reverse. For some of you, they could be having dreams about this connection, especially if they feel like they've hurt you in some way or they did you wrong. I think they maybe relive that in their dreams sometimes, and I think they would talk about that to people as well, and try to like analyze why this is coming up again. Maybe they've had a lot of ups and downs in their energy about this connection and the triggers that may have come with it. We have the Emperor. Aries energy could be significant. Yeah, they're definitely trying to take control of their headspace, and I think this is also part of what they would explain to people if they were talking about you, if they were describing this situation to someone else, that it has somehow been teaching them to be more mindful of the thoughts that they have and how they may have started recognizing that they have certain self-limiting beliefs or fears or anxieties. And even in this situation, there could have been the case of a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that they could have been like, oh, I'm not meant for this, I can't make this work, I will become codependent because I always become codependent. And then maybe that's exactly how it played out. But of course, if they believe that truly, they will take action, even if it's not on a very conscious level. They will likely take action that matches with their beliefs about their own self. So this could have been a case like that where this person did a little bit of self-sabotaging, and I think they recognize that now, and I think they feel that you really did not deserve that. And I think they would talk about this a lot, their regrets in this situation. We have the Three of Swords as a bottom deck energy. I think they've been very hurt by any separation here, as well as if they've hurt you, I think it's hurt them too. And I think they still have regrets over this, while they may still understand that it needed to happen that way for the two of you to heal, or it needed to be a separation so that you wouldn't hurt each other more. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse coming up as well. So this is kind of giving me the impression that this person tries to not talk about you too much. But I think sometimes, especially if they're in a triggered space, if they get in their head a lot, I think this does come up both in their thoughts a lot, as well as maybe in conversations with people they trust the most. I cut the deck and we have the Six of Pentacles. So generous, so giving, so gentle. That's how they see you. And so grounded as well, but so ethereal at the same time. It's a little bit of a magical energy. Let's get you some advice. I'll start with some Moonology cards. Ooh, they flew away. We have faith in your dreams, and we have look at the bigger picture. You might be at a place where you are, because I'm getting a little bit of a hustling energy from you, like you're getting something done, maybe a business idea, maybe a creative project for some of you. And this does not have anything to do with this connection necessarily, maybe, but I think you're about to do something big. I feel like you're manifesting something big for yourself, whether this is related to love or not. But it's something that your heart is in. And I think this is just random confirmation, if you needed any, that is coming through. I don't know. For me, that was a very clear message of that's happening, by the way. But take it however it resonates, of course. I think this also points to how maybe evolved your perception of this connection is, how much insight you have to this situation, how much understanding you may have over it, even if you don't feel like you do. So I think you can trust your intuition. If you have been having any intuitive kind of revelations or feelings, we have reliability. I am reliable. When I say I'll do something, I take whatever that something is seriously. This applies to all commitments, even the ones that may have seemed small and insignificant to a less reliable me. From now on, flaking is just for dandruff commercials and cereal factories. This for me ties back into that message of making a dream happen. But also maybe you and this person have promised. I'm hearing you promised to take good care of yourself. So maybe that's something relevant for some of you. I'm hearing keep that promise. Ooh. And we have support. I look at the vast network of support in my life and I'm reminded of what a superpower it gives me. At any moment, I can call on an army of top-notch people who want the best for me, which means I'm basically invincible. Take that, loneliness. Run for the hills, boredom. I'm sorry, what did you say to me, pervasive, all-consuming anxiety? Damn right you didn't. I think maybe you both could be... I think you both have a lot of energy, and I think it's important to keep yourself stimulated. Because if you don't pour that energy either in a balanced way, both inwards and outwards, or like just, keep yourself busy with activities or just like being out or interacting with the world around you, sometimes it's very easy to just really get lost in your head and spiral down because you end up pouring all of that energy in and just spiraling in your mind. And sometimes it can be scary to get to a certain depth, and that it might just drain you in a way that you don't need to be feeling. It might drain you in a way that you don't need to be drained in. I think you have a high level of energy. And that's why I think it's important to keep yourself busy, essentially, with whatever you want to be busy with, but just don't sit by yourself and just think and do nothing else. I learned this the hard way as well. And this is advice that my therapist actually gave me after I had a panic attack. I don't know if any of you have experienced something similar, but I went so far deep in my head that I kind of lost my grip. So keep yourself stimulated, essentially. And if you need to reach out to anyone to talk about this situation or anything else, do that. You don't need to do everything alone. I'm kind of getting this energy of you being very independent and very good at being independent, but that does not mean that you always have to do everything alone. That doesn't mean you can't ever talk to people about things or get help or get support. We're social animals, essentially. But yes, this is all I have for you, my beautiful pile ones. Let me know if this resonated. If it did not, there could be a message for you in another reading or in another pile. So if you feel called to do so, definitely do check those out. I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking into how the person on your mind would describe you and your connection. And I still have hay fever, so my voice comes and goes, so please bear with me. But yes, so we have this card to start off with, and I'm just gonna go grab my coffee real quick. All right. So let's see. We have the Firefly. For most of you, I think you have either met this person more recently or you have met them again more recently. I think this person is very inspired by you and by this connection. But there also seems to be a quality to this connection that makes them feel inadequate in some way. And I think this is absolutely not because of something you did or said, but I think this person just has been dealing with a lot of insecurities about their own self, about their own potential, about their own abilities. I think they see you as a guiding light and someone filled with light, and I think that's what they would tell people the most, how much you inspire them, how happy they are around you, how much wisdom you have, how you seem to guide them and give them advice that just works, that just makes sense. But at the same time, there is this energy of this person feeling very small in energy compared to you. So maybe there is a little bit of an energy of this person putting you on a pedestal and maybe undermining themselves at the same time. There's kind of an energy of them, if they talk to other people about this connection, that they might say something along the lines of, Pile 2 is incredible, but what if I lose them? Because, you know, I don't really have people like this in my life, or people like this don't stick around with me. It feels like that kind of energy. I think this person has difficulty expressing their emotions, especially to... The main energy I'm getting from this is maybe this is someone who has like one lifelong friend that they would open up to, but then not too many other people. But the main point of this reading isn't to look at whether they talk to people or who they talk to or anything of that sort, because everyone has a different level of privacy and what they're willing to share. But the point of this reading is to look at how they would describe you if they were talking to a person, or even a wall, or even if they were writing about you. And this person really, 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 really thinks you're really, 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 really beautiful as a person, and energetically especially. There's a little bit of longing here as well, so maybe for some of you, you're not You don't always have the opportunity to be around each other, but this person, regardless of the situation that you're in, is very, very drawn to you. I think there is something very calming about your presence to this person, something very soothing, something that makes them feel safe and calm and like things are okay. But maybe when they are, you know, just going about their day, they have a lot of intrusive thoughts that come up about this situation and just about themselves in general, and about what they're able to do, what they're able to bring onto the table, what they're able to provide, how much responsibility they're able to take. It's really an energy of them seeing themselves as smaller than they actually are and not seeing themselves in a very accurate light. That they would tell people, their friends, family, that they really care about you and that you are a part of their life, that if they can help it, that they don't want to lose. But there is a level of helplessness to this energy, like they feel that they might lose you just because of who they are, just because of what they might do. Maybe they've had experiences like this in the past where they've lost very close relationships. But I'm also not getting a very strong energy of this person having had a lot of very intimate connections. I think this is someone who maybe has a little bit of a more difficult time connecting with others and trusting others and being vulnerable and opening up. I think they may have a hard shell, but I think they're very vulnerable on the inside. And maybe they've shown you this, or maybe they want to show you this. It's almost this imagery that I'm getting, that your light shines so bright, and this person is so used to kind of living in the shadows. Whether this means that they don't really, have intimate relationships or get too close to people, or whether this means that they have been around people who haven't quite had an energy like yours. Regardless of the exact logistics, I think there's this imagery of this person feeling like once they get too close to you, because your light is so bright, that you would see all of their flaws. Like they're not able to thrive in the light the way that you can. But I think this image they have of themselves is not the real image. I don't think it's accurate, and I hope they're able to see themselves for who they are, because I think this is someone who actually has such a kind heart, but maybe they haven't been treated right, and it feels like maybe they haven't treated themselves right either. But I think they're healing. I think they want to heal, and maybe they talk about this too, and maybe they would talk about this, that this connection is inspiring them to do more, to want more, to seek more, to grow. But then again, there is that doubt coming in about their own abilities. There is that hesitation. So let's get into the tarot. Ooh. I think this is someone who's overwhelmed by their emotions for you, but maybe they don't want to show that too much. Maybe in the past it wasn't safe for them to express their feelings. Maybe in the house that they grew up in, or maybe in a past connection that could have been particularly difficult. We have Justice in reverse. I'm hearing I can't describe how I feel about pile 2 because it wouldn't do them justice. We have a Revolution in reverse, which I believe is the Tower. They don't want to lose you, and they would talk about this the most, I think. With this being the central energy, they want things to work out. They don't want anything to go wrong. And it feels like they're already quite invested emotionally, whether they've made this obvious or not. Whether they are invested physically in the same way or not. We have the Three of Swords. This is someone who does carry a lot of pain, possibly a lot of trauma that is very deeply rooted in their energy. We have the Five of Swords as well. So maybe there is a little bit of an unfortunate streak in this person's energy. And there seems to be this perception that they never win battles. But I think the issue also here might be a little bit that they see a lot of situations as a battle. Like they have to fight for things all the time. They need to earn them, or they need to win something to get things. Maybe this is how they felt growing up or in their past connections. They could have been in very toxic dynamics, and maybe you have as well. Maybe this is a point where the two of you connect. Maybe a point where the two of you have been able to open up to each other about this, about what may have gone wrong in the past and what you would like to not happen in this connection. But at the same time, there is that level of helplessness in this person's energy. And I think they would talk about their worries about this connection as well. A fear of things going wrong, a fear of sabotaging this, a fear of not deserving this connection. And I think this really just comes down to their own inner healing that they have to do. Because I think they are carrying a lot of wounds that they maybe haven't dealt with properly so far. We have the Knight of Swords and we have the Three of Wands in reverse. They may have difficulty explaining their feelings to you as well, or maybe they are afraid that if they would fully open up to you, they'd be shut down. It feels like they base a lot of their perception about this situation and the future of this situation on their past. So I do feel that they're still kind of reliving their past a little bit in their head and applying that and letting it influence their perception in their present and future life. Libra or Scorpio energies could be significant as well. We have the Six of Cups in reverse. Yeah, there's an energy of a little like being stuck in the past a little bit. And I think they already feel so connected to you, no matter how long it may have been since you've known them. There is a very deep connection here. A feeling of feeling at home with the Four of Wands, but I think they've maybe also had their most difficult experiences in the place that was supposed to be their home. Maybe during childhood, maybe during their teenage years, maybe when they were older. So it could be that this situation is quite triggering for them, as happy as it makes them, and as safe as they feel with you. I think they also have a lot of moments where there are a lot of intrusive thoughts, and I think they would maybe express these to other people as well, if they do talk about this connection, how much they value you, but at the same time, how afraid they are that it's not going to turn out the way that they hoped it would, because not a lot of things have turned out the way that they had hoped they would. We have the Star coming out as well, which for me really confirms that energy of healing. And this person now being under a starry night instead of just a pitch black night sky. It feels like an energy of this person coming out of the dark, like you're guiding them out of the dark. And I think they really value that and appreciate that. But they also recognize that there is a lot of work that they need to do. They need to make peace with themselves, but they seem to be having a lot of difficulty doing this. And it also feels like maybe they would talk about not wanting to drag you into their life because it's so messy right now, but at the same time really wanting to have you in their life. It feels very hot and cold in that sense. A lot of ups and downs, like they're afraid, but they want to go all in, but they're terrified. So it might be that they're holding back a little. Another thing I'm getting is that they might feel that they have disappointed you, or that they have the potential to disappoint you, and maybe they also talk about this to other people. If they do talk about people to this, if they do talk about this situation to other people. Let's get you some advice now. Ooh. We have nothing is yet set in stone. I'm hearing prioritize yourself. And of course that doesn't mean that you can't support this person as they go through these thoughts, as they deal with these intrusive thoughts or their self-limiting beliefs. But it is essentially not your responsibility to do the work for anyone else. It's not your responsibility to heal anyone else. So it's important that you don't feel obliged to be there for this person. But of course, if you feel called to be there for this person, then by all means, there's absolutely no issue with that either. It's just important for you to not put yourself in a spot where you feel stuck, essentially. That's kind of the energy I'm getting from this. And also, just because their energy is coming through like this right now does not mean that it will always be this way. There's an ongoing process here. This person is learning and growing, and they're trying. But of course, it's not an overnight thing. It's not instant. So of course, it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes persistence. It takes patience. But this person is putting the work in, and if they have been hot and cold with you, or if they've been hard to read, I think this is why. I think they don't want to give away all of their energy, all of the heaviness that they're carrying, because they think you don't deserve that. So maybe they've opened up to you to some extent, but maybe there still are some things that they are not willing to open up about yet. We also have meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. With all this bluish coloring here, it feels like it's important to communicate here clearly with each other, as uncomfortable as it might feel at times. And you don't have to talk about every single detail, but I do think it's important to really understand where the other person is coming from, and to ask them openly if you have any trouble understanding them. It's up to them what they're willing to share, but there's no point kind of coming up with scenarios in your head and driving yourself insane and worrying yourself sick about this situation or what they might be feeling. It would be so much easier to ask them, and maybe they won't say anything. But then you've at least tried. Which is much better than just not trying and, being in your head all the time. Okay. We have 3 cards coming through, so we will take them all. We have wisdom. With every relationship, I gain invaluable wisdom. I'm continually learning which qualities stimulate, support, and inspire me, and which ones make me want to cram a soup spoon into my ear and turn it slowly. In that sense, even failed relationships are actually successes. See how wise I sound? We have wait and see. Thoughts love to, yeah, see, wander into assumptions and race ahead to the future, but what if you told them to cool their jets and chill a sec? Today you get to put your mental chatter on pause, to take a breath and simply wait and see how things play out before you let your mind run a marathon of imagined scenarios. Wait, and you'll see that waiting and seeing was a lot more productive than wondering and worrying. Insert audible sigh of relief here. Worrying about a situation does not usually change the outcome of the situation. It more often just makes you stressed. So I think that's maybe important to keep in mind with this situation, even though it's a lot easier said than done. We also have wants and needs. I take stock of my relationships and I'm honest about what I want and need from the people in my life. I note the difference between the two. Wants are negotiable, needs are not. Both may be desired and either may be acquired, but that's getting into Venn diagram territory and no one wants to draw one of those, though some of us might need to. Again, this for me is an energy of prioritizing what you want and what you need right now, and putting yourself first, practicing healthy boundaries if you feel like boundaries are necessary in this situation. And there's no reason to feel guilty about wanting boundaries. Boundaries can be healthy. They give us space to evolve and grow and heal and do whatever we need to do. And on that note, this is all I have for you, my beautiful pile twos. Let me know if this resonated. If it did not, there could be a message for you in another reading or in another pile. So if you feel called to do so, definitely do check those out. I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile threes, and welcome to your reading. We are starting with this oracle card, and we are looking into how the person on your mind would describe your connection, or you, or both, whatever comes through. We're not so much focusing on who they would talk to or whether they actually talk to other people about this connection, but the main focus of this reading is more so how they perceive this connection and how they would describe it. If they were writing about it, if they were just having a conversation about it, whatever it might be. So we're more focused on the energy of it rather than, who they're talking to, because everyone has a different level of privacy. Everyone will have different preferences when it comes to how much they want to share with other people. So that's not our main focus, essentially. But let's get into your reading. Let's see what comes through. We have the dragonfly. I'm really drawn to this upside down triangle here, and it's giving me the impression that this person, if they do talk to anyone about this connection, or if they were to talk about it, they would play it down a little bit. It feels like there is an energy of downplaying this connection, maybe because they themselves are having difficulty accepting the significance of it for them. Or maybe they are unable to see the significance of it right now, but I do think that there is something spiritually significant for their journey about this connection. This may have been a little bit more on the rough side of things, this connection itself. The dynamic may have been very up and down, very intense at times, but then very flimsy as well. There could have been a lot of conflict, or just a lot of this person acting a little bit sneaky, or maybe not being entirely honest and clear with you. There is almost this energy of, if you look at this triangle, you see the blue, right? And then there is this small patch that's a little bit discolored. It's a little bit more either super light blue or just straight up white. I think it's white. And it almost feels like there are parts missing from their narrative. Maybe they would exclude certain things that happened in this situation from their description, not because they want to keep that private between the two of you, but it feels more like an energy of hiding things with a specific purpose, maybe hiding things with the purpose of altering the narrative of what happened. I think this is someone who has difficulty seeing things clearly. They could be very, very biased. They could be very protective of themselves as well, of their self-perception, and maybe they're not really willing to own up to any mistakes or take responsibility about things that they may have caused in this connection, especially if these things had negative outcomes. There seems to be an avoidance of heavy energies for this person, even if they leave a lot of heaviness in their wake. Even if they've left a lot of heaviness with you, it feels like there's a slight energy of this person avoiding and running from the truth of this connection, and possibly from themselves as well. I'm getting ghosting could have been relevant for some of you. This person could have ghosted you, or they could have kind of left you halfway with no explanation as to why they were acting the way that they were. This is possibly because they don't have an explanation for themselves either. And it's very important for you to know that whatever this person may have said, or however they may have made you feel, it shows what's going on within them, rather than saying that something's wrong with you or that's what you deserved. That is not the truth at all. I think you have a very pure, very almost like airy, this airy energy, this airy quality. Like you're very light, in the sense that maybe you were very compassionate with this person. Maybe you, even if they hurt you a lot, maybe you forgave them very easily for a while, but it feels like this person maybe took advantage of your goodwill. And I think they recognize that they've kind of lost this connection in some way, because there's something really airy about the energy of it. Not that it's light, but it feels faint, like it's dissipated, like something went wrong and you separated. That's more so the energy I'm getting. And I don't think this person would talk about these things, but maybe they would more so talk about the positives that they perceive they brought into the connection. But there's definitely an energy of them downplaying the effect that this situation may have had on them, or the effect that this situation may have had on you especially. I think they're most likely not aware of how this situation has or will impact them, has impacted them or will impact them. There is not a lot of self-awareness. It's almost like this person is more connected to their shell and what they want others to perceive, rather than their own true self. And I think this really shows in the way that they perceive other situations and connections in their life as well, especially this situation. You could have seen this person on a deeper level than other people have seen them. Maybe you recognized some of their patterns. Maybe you recognized that they were carrying some trauma that they were projecting onto other people or blaming other people for, and not really acknowledging or working through these things. But it feels like this person themselves, they're not very aware of the energies that kind of are making up who they are right now. It really feels like they're more concerned with how they're perceived by others. And I don't think they perceive themselves in a very accurate or objective light either. And it's a natural thing for the ego to want to protect us, but it almost feels like it's on such an extreme level with this person that they are willing to be blind to their behaviors, to their own energy, for the sake of painting things in a more positive light, for the sake of making situations and the aftermath of situations lighter than they are. And I think if they were to describe this connection, That's mainly how they would describe it, that it felt good at the time, that it was fun, that it was happy. And it feels like there wouldn't be a whole lot of talking about the details if they were to talk to other people about this, especially because I think there were possibly a lot of details that they either purposefully ignored or really were genuinely unaware of. And these details could be them being dishonest with you, or them betraying your trust, or invalidating your... It feels like there's something about this person that they may have invalidated how you feel towards them due to their actions. I'm getting a little bit of a gaslighting energy. If I'm being honest, it feels like they may have tried to change your narrative of the situation as well. They may have tried to convince you otherwise. They may have acted like you're absolutely wrong and disconnected from reality, when I think in reality they're the person who's possibly a little bit more disconnected from what was going on and from themselves as well. And it's important for you to know that if this person made you feel like what you were feeling was wrong, it was not. Feelings are not wrong or right. You just feel them. They're just there. We feel them in reaction to our experiences. And it's okay to feel them. They're not wrong or right. If you feel something, you feel it, and it's okay. You're allowed to feel it, and you should allow yourself to feel any emotion that wants to come through about this situation, about this person, with no judgment for yourself. You're right in feeling anything you feel. Not even like being right in feeling anything, you just feel them. That's it. That is the whole story. And if this person has made you feel guilty for feeling a certain way or not being okay with their behavior, that is what's not okay. That they could have felt entitled to dictate how you're supposed to feel or how you should react. That's not for them to decide. And it almost feels like they have quite a controlling energy, not just about this connection, but just about every situation in their life. I think this is someone who has a hard time letting go. And maybe this stems from a habit of just holding on to a lot of resentment, a lot of pain from their past, because it feels like they're just heavy in their energy. So they try to play it down. They try to appear so light because they actually deep down are so bogged down by the burdens that they're carrying. And this is no excuse to treat someone in a way that's disrespectful or unfair. It's not an excuse at all. And I'm not explaining this to like excuse their behavior. But maybe it helps to put a little bit more perspective to the situation. And for you to really know that it is not your fault that this person may have acted in a way that was not okay. Or they may have treated you in a way that you didn't deserve to be treated. Because the truth is that you don't deserve to be treated that way. Whatever it may have been the case for your situation specifically, the context will be different for every single one of you, but I can't shake off this feeling that this person really didn't treat you right. And that's what's not okay. It's not how you felt or how you may have reacted, how you may have expressed your feelings. That's not the issue. So let's get into the tarot and see what else will come through. I know this is meant to be focused on what they would say, but I almost feel called to more so narrate the situation myself, if that makes sense, because it feels like this person wouldn't be honest about it, or they wouldn't be willing to say much, and that they don't have a very accurate perspective of what may have happened. And it feels like their story is very biased in the sense that it paints them in a very positive light. We have the Chariot in reverse. I don't think I've ever gotten this from the Chariot, but I'm getting this honest energy. But it's almost like the story is different every time they tell it, rather than they stick to one particular story. It feels a little bit directionless in terms of how they may portray this situation to other people. Like, even they don't have the details of the story they tell because it changes all the time, and it's hard to keep track of lies, of things that are not true, that haven't happened. And that's kind of what it feels like. We have the Fool in reverse. It really feels like this person didn't match your energy at all. And they recognize how genuine you actually are, but it feels like they're unable, and they were unable to match that kind of energy, because someone who can't be honest with their own self will likely not be able to be honest with anyone else either. Our relationship with our own self can determine how we show up in relationships with others in very significant ways. So if this person has a pattern of hiding from their own self, they will likely hide from other people as well. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. I heard, I didn't like the ending. For some of you, this person could be playing the victim a little bit. We have Strength coming out. And we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups in this context is giving me a very disconnected energy, very kind of walled off, very withdrawn from what really happened. And with Strength coming through, it's really an energy of this person trying to paint themselves in a positive, radiant light. And I think here it's very important for you to know that what this person may say about you or think about you does not dictate who you actually are. That is their perception, and you can't control it. But you don't need to, because it says nothing about who you actually are. You know who you are. And that's what matters. Your opinion is what matters. Your perception is what matters. The story you tell yourself is what matters, and not what this person might tell themselves. I think they have quite a lot of healing to do, but it is on them to decide whether they want to do that healing, whether they want to get to know themselves, whether they want to work through whatever trauma they may be carrying or not. It's not your responsibility. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have Death. We have Justice. They may be under the perception that you outgrew each other for some of you, but I realistically don't think this person has done a lot of growing. It's more of an energy of repeating cycles. We have the Star. And we have the Ace of Swords. What they say is so disconnected, so withdrawn from what really was, or what they may see is maybe only a tiny, tiny portion of what really happened. There is a sense of this person feeling like, or perceiving or convincing themselves that the two of you put in equal energy into this connection. But I don't think that's true. But it feels like the way they perceive things is very mutual. Or even to the point where, like, you are the one who, like, decided to end things or hurt them. And this could be the case, of course. It could be that maybe this person acted in a way that wasn't okay, and then you pulled your energy away from them. You cut a clear line between the two of you, or set some kind of clear boundary. And maybe they focused only on that and nothing else. Maybe they don't see their own behavior, but they think, how could pile 3 end things with me? I thought they cared about me. And I can see that you did care about this person. Maybe you still do. And if you do, and if you're putting pressure on yourself to just not care about this person anymore, don't judge yourself for being compassionate and wanting to give love, and for caring about someone, even if they didn't treat you right. It's not your fault, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. You just felt what you did, or you feel what you feel, and that's okay. I know I keep saying this, but it's very, very important to keep this in mind, I think, especially in a situation like this. In terms of signs, we have Leo, Aquarius, Libra, Scorpio, and Aries, and Cancer. There's a stubborn energy about this person a little bit, or like no one can change their mind but their own self. And I think maybe this is a cycle that they repeat as well. Maybe this isn't the first time something like this happened. Both of the cards just flew away, so let me just get them. We have faith in your dreams, and a personal issue reaches resolution. If you set boundaries with this person and they're making you feel guilty about it in some way, you should know that you have every right to set any boundaries you feel comfortable with, any boundaries you feel are necessary. You don't owe it to this person to just be available to them at all times, or to be available to them at all. You're allowed to withdraw. You're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to pull away. And I think you're meant for so much more than what you may have experienced in this situation, and it's very important that you never ever forget that. And I think it's very important to stay open to possibilities, to love, to opening up again, because maybe this experience has made you withdraw as well. There's a little bit of an energy of like walling yourself off as well, not in the same way that this person might, but more so from other people or other experiences, because maybe this has impacted you so deeply. It feels like it was a difficult experience, and it takes time to process and heal and work through everything that you need to feel. And it's okay for it to take time. There's no rush. What advice wants to come through? Actually, I think we're going to use the other Affirmators deck. This feels more relevant to me for this situation. We have Vitality. I am healthy and vital and strong. My radiant love of life fills me with healthy, vital, and strong cells. Each cell is a warrior. Everyone has its own sword and shield. I dare you to try and penetrate my cellular army. Didn't think so, chump. And we have No Judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? This for me really ties back to everything I was just talking about setting boundaries if you want to, and allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. You're not on a deadline. And you can't always feel nothing but compassion. You can't always be 100% zen and unaffected. It's okay to be affected by situations. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be resentful. But it's also about how you deal with those feelings, whether you work through them or whether you allow them to just block you from further experiences, whether you allow them to stay in your energy and consume you. I was just thinking if there's anything else that wants to come through, but I think this is all I have for you, my beautiful pile threes. Please, please, please remember that you deserve the best and you don't need to settle. That's just a little reminder from me. But of course, as always, take these messages however they resonate with you and leave the rest. I am sending you so much love and so much light. Take care and bye.